Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of a Holy Rust Revival. We're going to do something today that's probably not one of my finer ideas, and quite frankly, it might be kind of stupid. uh, 46 Willys. Originally, some of the 46 Willises came with cutouts, or actually indentions right here for the shovel and the axe. I'll throw a picture up so you can see. Now, I think my Willys originally came with this. The later civilian models did not have these cutouts on them, but the very first Willises that were produced and the very first serial numbers had some leftover tubs from the military versions that had those cutouts. So yes, some of the CJ civilian Jeep Willises came with those cutouts, but then later on they did not. Now, uh, we've got a brand new tub here, and I'm about to saw this thing up and try to retrofit these cutouts. You see that notch there? There's another notch here. That's for the shovel, and this is for the axe. So there's a piece that's angled that direction. Then there's also another piece that goes this direction. Again, axe, shovel. The axe comes up here and the axe head sticks in this slot there. And I don't have the axe and shovel yet. I probably won't be able to show you that on this episode of how they actually mount up on the side of the Jeep. But there's plenty of YouTube videos out there. If you just Google shovel and axe install, you'll see plenty of videos on how to do that. But today my video is going to be more about cutting a perfectly good Jeep Willys tub to fit in these pieces to make that shovel and axe fit later on when I get them. So, great idea? No. But let me say this. I'm an Eagle Scout. What's our motto? Be prepared. And as I build this Jeep, I want to build a Jeep where I can be prepared, okay? You never know when you might need an axe or a shovel out there somewhere. So, we're going to be prepared. So that overrules any of my thoughts about whether this is a good idea or bad idea. We're just going to be good prepared scouts. How does that sound? All right, let me do a little head scratching. I'll bring you here and show you my idea of what I'm going to do, and then we'll start cutting this perfectly good Jeep body apart. That's not good. Okay guys, I have roughly marked out where the first patch panel is going to go. Let me kind of hold it up there for you to see. So that's kind of the perimeter of the panel itself and how it's going to fit in there. I'm not holding it exactly perfect. And I plan on cutting under my line a little bit so that I can have some lap over and set the thing in place, and then measure it more precisely, or mark it more precisely rather, on the tub itself. Now, let's talk about the gas filler neck. Originally, the gas tank was under the seat. And you know, I'm assuming on the military versions, they had a filler neck up here, because I do know the gas tank was still under the seat, but it did not come through the side. And I think the civilian models were the only ones where it began to poke through the side like that. Might have been a safety issue about not spilling gas over in the tub. I don't know. But anyway, that's the difference between a military tub and a CJ tub. Ultimately, as you know, I put the gas tank in the back between the frame rails, so this is not even an issue for us. So I am going to cut all of that out, but I'm also going to cut up here as well, and then patch this and just completely smooth that over. great idea, isn't it? Cutting up a new tub. Yeah. Woo. Mm, 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 mm. So I've got the rough perimeter cut through here all the way down. Now there's spot welds that are holding this piece on. And I'm gonna take this sanding wheel that's got kind of this sandpaper grit on there and hit it in these areas where I think the spot welds are. And a lot of times it'll grind down the surface but leave a little black in the bottom where those spot welds are. Let's see if that's actually gonna work. I found a few spot welds by grinding the top layer of paint off. You can see those little holes and those little divots. I do feel like there's more spot welds in here that I'm missing, probably right in here. Definitely see two right there. So I'm just gonna get a hole saw, a little spot rivet hole saw, and cut a few of these out and see if we can start loosening that panel up. All right, I've drilled about 4 spot welds here, and I'm about to pull out the first piece. I made a relief cut. Sometimes it's easier to do these panels in smaller pieces. So I'm gonna see if I can get behind here and get it to come on out. It wants to. I still got a little bit hanging up on this spot weld right here. Sometimes this is good to slip down in. There it is. There it is. So we didn't damage that structure too much. Probably pulled this out just a little. Just let me tap it back in with a hammer. So that's good metal to go back and with the new panel and weld spot welds back in. Okay, I'm gonna continue to work my way on down and just keep taking this thing out a little piece at a time. Okay, y'all, let me bring you in here a little bit. Don't be upset with what you're about to see. I've been gnawing out Trying my best to take care of these spot welds. And down here, you may see some relief cuts. I had to. They didn't use spot welds down here. And this is, I think, MD1 is who made this tub. They basically just did spot welds down here at the bottom of the lip. I'm not so sure I like that. I don't know how well that would have held over time. Anyway, I left this piece in temporarily so that it would kind of hold and give rigidity to this whole situation until I get through measuring exactly where I need to cut here and here, and line it up to this back and line it up at the bottom. So everything hopefully is going to fit fine. Let's see if I can kind of hold that up for you. Can you kind of see what's about to happen? I can't hold it up well with two hands, but yeah, that's going to fit in very nicely and weld in very nicely by the time it's all said and done. Okay, I need to do some more cleaning up, and I'm going to find the places where I need to actually cut here and back here. I had thought about taking this seam out or just cutting it at the bottom of this seam. However, that's a whole lot of welding right there when I could just weld there and weld down there. That'd be a lot less cleaning up to have to do in the long run. So I just decided to go with the whole panel. And you might ask, Rob, why not just cut out the little strips right there and put this piece of metal on top of it? It's never a good idea to stack two pieces of sheet metal on top of one another when it comes to body work on a car. Because if moisture gets in between those two sheets, it's just going to eat up and rot out very quickly. And so it's good just to go ahead and cut it out and put the solid piece in there just like it was when it came from the factory. Tristan, your Uncle Rob has not always made the smartest of decisions. But look, it's getting better. It's getting better. Let me turn the camera around and show you how I fitted the panel up. Okay, y'all. It's not looking too bad for an amateur or an old farm boy. Joints are mating up pretty well, pretty good. Got a little crack here. I got to do a little cleaning up back here on this back joint to get this to mesh up just a little bit better. And of course, I've got to get out the rest of this gas cap and cut out a piece of metal to fill in across here as well. But look, all in all, it's not bad. It's really not bad. I hope I can get the other piece in tonight before I go to bed. That's not going to be as extensive and hard as this piece was. I'm certainly not going to go back very far. As you can see, I do have the whole panel that goes all the way across, but we're only using, this much of it. So there's no need in running that metal all the way back when I can cut this one off, probably at the end of that joint, and fit her in really well right there. So probably, I'm guessing somewhere probably behind this step, I'll probably cut and put that other piece in. Okay, let me quit bumping my gums and keep on sanding and grinding and getting ready to do some spot welds in here. Okay, let me show you a little bit of what I've done before I start making things permanent. Cut out this little piece of metal, and I have tack welded it where it's completely flush and pretty even down here. Still have a little bit of cleaning up to do in this joint, but we're looking pretty good back here. And of course, up here in the front, it's looking good. So I think I'm going to remove this panel. I'm going to drill some holes in the framework so that I can make some tack welds or some spot welds from behind. And we're about to make this permanent. Okay, all right, let's do this. Plug holes that I welded all through here. Drilled. I drilled these holes so that when I put the panel on there, I can plug weld from the back side, fill that hole up with a weld, and weld into the outside panel. I also did that along here, even though originally from the factory, they weren't like this. Like I told you, they were basically just tack welded under here. So I think ultimately this panel is going to be in there a lot stronger than it was before, because I'm going to plug weld all of these holes. This little piece right here is a part of the cross member underneath that when I get the panel in, I'm going to beat it back up there and weld it all the way across the bottom. And yeah, I think this is going to go in well and going to be a lot stronger. Now I'm going to put the panel back up there, mark these little holes on the back side, clean up the spots where the welds are going to go, so I make sure that I get a very good weld and good penetration. Let me give you fine people a little update. Been laying on my back, working on the spot welds on the back. And you can actually see where I've burned those spot welds in. Up through this frame, up here, and there's actually some behind this. It's popping as it's cooling off. But all of that went well. Welded this bracket on. It's part of the cross member under there. And now, I'm just gonna sit here in my trusty little chair and stitch weld this thing all the way up. Stitch weld this. Take a good grinder and kind of sand it down, get it flush. And if we have enough time tonight, excuse me, we'll get to this section. We'll just see how tired a fella is when he gets done with this part. But y'all, I'm happy. I'm happy. Very solid. I think it's gonna be great. So if you watched me weld, I kind of welded about an inch here, came over here, welded an inch here, came back here, welded an inch. I did that to kind of spread the heat out evenly across the panel. Also, when you get to welding too much in one place, it wants to get too hot on the end and blow through the crack. So now I'm going to take that grinding wheel right there and we're gonna clean this baby up. Looks bad right now, but wait just a minute and let's see how this thing turns out. Well, yeah, you know, I've got it as smooth as I'm gonna get it for now. But I think that turned out pretty doggone well. And I am gonna use a little body filler, and it's okay to use body filler. There's nothing wrong with body filler as long as you don't just spread it on real thick. I'm just going to be using a real thin coat to smooth out some of these rough edges along there, and even smooth out these plug welds that I have welded in here. But look, that is just as good as it was about 2 hours ago before I cut all of that out. So strong, sturdy, no cracks, no creaks. Now, it is about 8:45 and I'm still feeling pretty good. So let me see if I can get motivated to work on this piece right here. Okay, y'all, I just got busy and I got focused and I just started running away without bringing you along. So that's finished. I've been cutting out this section. And like I told you before, I decided not to go all the way with that whole piece. So now I'm working on mating up those two surfaces so that they are flush, as well as everything is flush on the other panel here where I can just stitch weld it in. So anyway, that's where I am. I wanted to bring you up to speed. It's looking good. You know, originally, I think that panel overlapped. Well, I'm gonna bring it back out and smooth it out and try to get it to where it seems like there's no joint or crack there at all, if that makes sense. I understand one of the places where these old Jeeps rust is where that overlaps and water gets in between that joint. So let me do a little cleaning up. Let me get this tack welded in, and I'll bring you back and show you what I'm doing. I've got this piece tacked in. Pretty good gaps all the way around. I've got a bad little gap right here, but you know what? That's why I love working with metal. You can make that, you can fill that in. Yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna take some time stitching this bad boy in. Trying to make it look as pretty and nice as possible. But I think we're gonna get her done tonight before we go to bed. Man, I'm excited about this. I really didn't know how this was going to turn out, and I was really regretting doing it, or procrastinating rather, but I'm glad to go ahead and get this behind me. Oh, that's going to be so nice. Well, I think I've got it welded in and ground down enough to get a light coat of body filler on it. Smooth this baby out. It was a little challenging up in here, and that crack right there was a little challenging. I don't know, something about this old metal just doesn't, it welds good in one little inch, and the next inch it'll just poop out on you. I don't know what the deal is. But anyway, it's not bad. I'm gonna clean her up now and put a little body filler on it, and then we'll see how it looks. Well, surprise, surprise. I have been playing with a little body filler. And again, I apologize, y'all. I got my nose to the grind and got after it. But I've put the first layer of body filler on, and I've got it sanded down, and I have found some low spots, a low spot here, and a place or two up here. But all in all, it's looking great. And look, don't criticize my body work. I am not a body man by any means, but I know a lot of what not to do. So I'm still a work in progress. So it's about midnight. Man, I should have gone to bed about 2 hours ago. But I'm going to put the last layer of body filler on in these areas that I was telling you about and let that sit overnight, because it is getting a little bit cooler and it's taking longer for that body filler to dry. So this is going to be it for tonight. Oh, hey. How about a little sneak peek of the feetsies that are going to be? See, this was what was on there. How about that right there? A Cooper Discover STT Pro. Santa Claus was very, very good. And these are 31 by 1050s on 15-inch by 8-inch wheels. And it's going to fit very nicely. And there, I almost went with 33s. However, I don't know. I just, fella's getting a little older. He's having a hard time jumping up over in here to start with. And plus that Dana 41 axle, 31 is about, in my opinion, as much as it can handle without breaking. 33s, there's a lot of folks that run 33s. But I just thought that was a good, solid tire for that axle in this Jeep. And it really just fits the wheel well perfectly, actually. So I couldn't be any happier with that. So thank you, Santa Claus. You did good. I've even got a 5th one for the spare, and soon we're going to be building a spare tire rack back here. So anywho, it's nighttime. Good night. We'll finish this project up tomorrow and slap a little paint on there so you can see how well it turned out. Thank y'all. Good night. Good morning, everybody. Well, I put a second coat of body filler on last night, and I've been spending the last hour sanding down with a 60 or 80 grit. And now I'm down to the 320 grit, and man, she is smooth as a baby's bottom. Now, I may have said this before, but I am no body man by any means, by any stretch of the means. But I have learned, the more body filler you put on, the more you have to sand and take off. So be very sparing and be very careful about what you put on. Just put a very light coat and continue building light coats up. Again, that's my advice. I am not the body man, but I think she's turning out very nice. I'm going to take these footman loops off so I can get my 320 grit sandpaper, behind those areas and put a little coat of primer on it before we say we're done. Speaking of done, I told y'all at the beginning of the video that I didn't have the shovels and the straps, and I got to have a bracket here and a bracket over here, and especially one for the shovel. And I did a bad thing last night. I went to bed and got to flipping through the old interwebs and found a kit that has all of that in it, and it was just too enticing not to go ahead and order that kit. And the reason why it's bad is because this is December the 26th. Christmas Day was yesterday. Several days ago, I paid all my land taxes for the year. Christmas, y'all know how that is. I'm a state employee, so I'm in the school business, by the way. So I got paid for next month in the middle of December. So there for about 2 weeks, you feel like you're a very, very rich person. But then middle of January comes, and it's not good. And you're not going to get a paycheck for another 2 to 3 weeks. And what did I do? I went and ordered this kit. Shovel, axe, brackets, straps, all of that to put on the side. And it's your fault. If anybody asks, it's your fault, because I could not let this video go away without you actually seeing those things in place. So yes, I'm going to wait a little bit to produce this video until those parts come in and we can actually strap this on so you can see my vision. Speaking of vision, we had two things that we had to accomplish here. First of all was to fix that fuel filler neck that was right there. Remember, I put the gas tank in the back, so check, that's done. And I just figured while I was doing it, I would go ahead and create this very iconic feature on these old Willys Jeeps to put the axe and the shovel in there. So check on that. It's turning out beautifully. I may come back to another shot after I put a little light coat of primer on this, but definitely hold tight because it's going to be a few days. Those parts and pieces are coming in. As a matter of fact, I saw this morning where they had shipped, so it shouldn't be too long. Depending on how backed up FedEx and UPS and all that is over the next couple of days. So, all right, let me do a little more sanding. This is the bane of existence when you're dealing with body work, but it's okay. The end results are wonderful. But I would rather cut out rust and weld rust in than to have enough patience to do all this. But it's going to be great. Okay, y'all. Thought I'd get you out in this beautiful sunshine today. Look at just how beautiful the clouds and the skies are, and wanted to really get you in the sunshine so you could see what it really looks like. Not too bad for a plowboy. Not too bad. I see some places that I'll still need to fix up. There's a place here and a little place there, But look, I got the project done for what it is today. When I get ready to final paint and sand, I'll certainly fix some of those places up. But all in all, not bad for a plowboy. And we fixed our hole there. And we've got cutouts now for shovels and axe. So that's good. All right, we're gonna pause for a day or two till those other parts come in, and I'm gonna stick those on there and show you the final result. Hey y'all,
It's actually now January the 6th on a Saturday. And I think I taped the rest of that video, right after Christmas, December 26th, something like that. I'll have to go back and look and see. But it's been a week or so in between when I actually finished that up and got all of this stuff in. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of life has happened in the last week and a half to 2 weeks. My oldest son, Tyler, got engaged to his girlfriend, now fiance, Alex. And so life has changed a good bit. You know how they say life will change in the snap of a finger? Well, it has for me. They've decided to potentially have the wedding on our farm, and we need a barn, and I don't have a barn. So it's going to be a mad dash for the next 5 months to get a barn built and get the place ready for a wedding to happen. And exciting news is that as a result, I may have a new workspace for projects in the future. So that's exciting. More exciting, though, is my oldest son and Alex getting married. That is the absolute most exciting thing. And look, today in this very last part of this video, I'm not going to give you a step-by-step of how to put all of this in. There's great videos out there that help you measure the exact holes, line everything up, put all of this stuff in, and that's not what the purpose of this video was to begin with. It was to actually take those panels out and weld them in and show you how I did that. But I wanted you to see what the end result was. So I'm going to get busy here for the next few minutes, but let me show you what came in this kit. Of course, the axe came in the kit, shovel came in the kit, bracket that holds the bottom of the axe in. I'll show you that in just a little bit. This is the bracket that goes at the end of the axe handle. This is the bracket that holds the tip of the shovel in to the body. I'll show you that. It even came with some extra footman loops for around where the axe head goes in, but we already have those, so we won't need them. The kit also came with the piece that kind of tacks and welds onto the body for the end of the axe to come in, but I already have that, so I don't need that either. It also came with all the mounting hardware for these brackets. Also, it came with a Jolly Rancher and lemon head, which I'm going to partake in just a few minutes for my breakfast this morning. So that'll be good. Okay, so let me get busy putting this in, and I'll bring you back in and just show you the final result in just a moment. Okay, y'all. So I've got the Pioneer tools on. And, oh yeah, Sweetie noticed something a little different there. So I'm real excited about having the tools on there. It was a lot of work to cut out all of that and metal and put those recesses in there for those tools to fit. But I think it's well worth it. There is no doubt that my Eagle Scout be prepared attitude and mindset is now satisfied because I've got these tools on there. And I really think it turned out well. The axe fit in there perfectly. You can kind of see a configuration of the straps and how they fit. This strap actually continues to pull tight on this shovel handle in that configuration. And that bracket fit nicely. This bracket went on just right. I am a little concerned that the shovel is sticking out a little bit right here, but I think over time, the way that tension is being put on that, it'll probably pull itself back as we tighten and tighten. But I couldn't be any more pleased. Never know when you're going to get in a bind out there somewhere and you might need these devices. So I have them. I don't have to just have them rolling around in the back and cluttering things up. They are on there built as they're supposed to be. Okay, so I've got a few chores this morning. I'm going to use the Willys Jeep for. Got to put out a little food for the deer and several other things I've got to just maintain here on the farm. And man, this is going to be such a great device to use on the farm and for many, many years to come. All right, y'all. God bless. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm going to put something down in the comments of a video that I watched to line all of this stuff up, okay? There's no need in me doing all of that again when somebody has already taken the time. I think it's Red Eye Cafe or Garage or something like that I watched that was very helpful in getting all this set up on my Jeep. So, God bless. Take care of yourselves. Next episode, I'm not sure. As I told you earlier, life has changed so much here lately. We're going to keep on marching on this until we get it painted and get everything fixed up like it needs to be. But we got to get it back on the Mustang here pretty soon. I've got some developments on it as well. All right, y'all. Have a great and happy new year.